I was just saying that I've started trying out all sorts of ukulele strings. So there are essentially three different big types of ukulele strings you can choose from. There's what they call nyla gut, which is sort of imitation catgut, and is maybe the most traditional sound. There is nylon strings themselves, actually, from imitation cats, exactly. I like that, Kathleen. There's nylon itself, and then there is what has become really the standard ukulele string, fluorocarbon, I think it's called. I might be saying that right. Fluorocarbon, which is the same stuff that they make high tension deep sea fishing line out of. And actually, it probably turns out that that's all that fluorocarbon ukulele strings are, is that people buy huge amounts of deep sea fishing line in different weights, meaning how thick they are. That's how they measure them in the weight. And then they cut them into pieces and sell them as ukulele strings. So those are the three main types of ukulele strings. I had fluorocarbons on before and just tried something by Aquila called Aquila Reds. I don't know if you can see, they literally are red strings.
Say the word Aquila. How do you spell that?
It's a brand, and they make things out of. I just put it in there. They make ukulele strings out of all sorts of weird experimental materials. So this is nyla gut plus copper. They also have a nyla gut plus lava ash that turns black and has a slightly different sound, et cetera, et cetera. But they really do have very different sounds. So would encourage folks, if you like your ukulele but aren't totally in love with the sound, experiment with some new strings.
Wait, what's your favorite?
I don't know. I'm only on my second set right now. I'm on these Aquila Reds, which are really interesting and a very different sound. Hopefully it'll come through enough that you'll be able to tell the different sound. And I have 2 or 3 more sets. And I've ordered a few extras of each of the ones I've gotten. So if there's anyone else who wants to join me in this experimentation journey, let me know, and I'm happy to pass some of these sets on to you.
I hope sometime. I know you had. Do you have a tuning? You had a restringing session. I think I missed it.
We can do another one of those if there's people who want to. We could do a restringing session in person. Probably makes the most sense for that, actually.
So fun. We could have a restringing party.
Now, the thing to know about restringing a ukulele is because they're these stretchy strings, it can take a few days before it stays in tune for you. Okay, I'm just about tuned, and then let's play.
Rabbi Daniel?
Yeah, Linda.
The last time we talked about the tuning, and I'm still not sure. I'm doing that faster thing, boom, 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 that we talked about, but it seems like the string, it'll be like, okay, now it's on the A, and then it settles back a little bit, right?
So let me just do it again, and I'll show you how I tune. Everyone can see this, right? I know it's upside down. I'm sorry. I can probably even fix that. Let's see.
Could you say what app that is?
So this is an app called G String.
That's right. Okay.
There you go. And okay. Now it should be looking the right direction for you. Okay, here's how I tune. I'm going to turn on original sound and mute everyone just so you can hear it fully. I've got you. You don't need to mute yourself. So with my ukulele, first of all, just as a reminder, we always tune up. So here's my G. You can actually see the G's a little sharp there. You see that? Just a little. Actually, it's probably about fine. So first of all, you hear how often I am plucking that string. That's what you want to do when you're tuning, is over and over again pluck that string. And And let's just pretend this is sharper than it is. I'll tune it up a little bit. There you go. Now you can see it's too sharp, right? So what you want to do when tuning is you want to come back below the note. Don't just tune down to it. So we want to go below the G and come back up afterwards. To make sure that there is no slack stuck in it between the nut of your ukulele and the tuning pegs. So I'll do the same with the C, right? It's a little flat, so I'll bring it up. There we go. The E string and the A string. So there you go. That's how you want to tune when you're tuning, is like that. Plucking it at that speed and coming up and so on and so forth. Okay, any tuning questions before we jump in? Okay, so let's go ahead and warm up.
Yes, I do have one. What
Yeah.
does the app look? What does the app look like?
So I don't know if it's available for Apple. I have an Android. Hold on, I can check on. I have an iPad now, so I can look on there, even though I don't really know how to use it. It looks like it is not available for Apple, but you should still be able to, if you type in guitar tuner or ukulele tuner, there's a bazillion of them, and find one you like. I like the ones that you don't have to tell it what note you're playing beforehand. Chromatic tuner. There's one called Pro Guitar Tuner that looks good. So yeah, I know that wasn't very helpful. I'll look later, Grandma Judy, and see if I find anything interesting on the App Store, and if so, I will.
I use something called Piano Tuner.
If it works for you, great.
Well, it's not as precise as yours.
Yeah, the truth of it is, the best tuner to get is a tuner that clips onto your headstock.
I know.
And I like, in that market, I like the Snark brand, Snark.
I used to use it with my bass, but it broke a lot.
They do break. Make sure you don't buy a nice one. That's Snark is about the right. It's, I think, usually $11 or $12. I wouldn't buy the nice ones.
They would be $5 when I was buying.
You buy them on sale. You'll find them. Yep. Okay, let's warm up, shall we? Let's just make our way quickly through our warm-ups. We'll be relatively quick with it because we're starting late today. Here we go. Down, down, up, up, down, up. Here we go. C, G, A minor, and F. C, G, A minor, and F. Again, C, G, A minor, and F. C, G, A minor, and F. And let's just end on a C. Okay, feel okay? I don't know if you can hear the difference, but I really hear the difference in my strings. These reds are quite different. Okay, we will try the same in the key of G. So now we've got a G, we've got a D, we get our E minor, and we get our C. Here we go. Down, down, up, up, down, up. Here we go. minor, and C, G, D, E minor, and C, G, D, E minor, and C, G, D, E minor, and C, and on G. How'd that feel for everyone? Starting to get more comfortable? Good. Good. Okay. Once again. F, C, D minor, and B flat. My hope is that this is a pretty easy one for you, other than perhaps the B flat. F, C, D minor, and B flat. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, and F. Up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up. Here we go. F. Now C, C, D minor, E minor, B flat. F, C, D minor, B flat. F, C, D minor, B flat. One more time. F, C, D minor, B flat, and end on F. Just a note about my strumming there that I did on the last one, the last set. I was only doing the ups and not the downs, which is how you get that sound. Which gives it kind of a reggae feel. Yeah, Linda.
When you're going up, are you still only using your index finger, or are you using more fingers?
I am still only using my index finger. Let's see if I can.
Oh, and Rabbi Daniel, Ray wants to join us. Oh, let's see. I think he didn't know it was happening. Sorry, I'm just telling him.
No, thank you. When I'm going up, I'm just using my index finger. That's all I'm strumming with is that index. So.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you just see again? So you just go down, up. It just looks like your whole hand.
Yep, let me hear.
Got it.
And if you wanted to get that reggae sound, you can kind of mute it on the downs. I did it on the last set of Hashkivenu just to play around. That was all.
Oh, okay.
That was all. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, our new song, David Melech. Though maybe what we'll do is we'll vamp first. Let's vamp first, and then we'll David Melech, and then do our new stuff. Just go like that. That works. And here comes Ray. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start out in the key of C in this Hawaiian vamp, which means we've got the D7, the G7 to the C. So we're going to try that. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, D7, G7, and C. Again, D7, G7, and C. D7, G7, C. D7, G7, and C. Okay, that feel okay? No, Judy didn't like it. Let's try it one more time. We're going to do it a little faster this time. Yeah, Judy.
Faster. I wasn't going to ask you to go slower.
Okay, we'll do it slower first. Great.
Okay, and show us the strum.
So you can do almost whatever strum you want. I'm doing a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And all I'm changing is how hard I strum. Down, down, down. And it gives a da 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 down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Right? So you change the strum based on how hard. So we go D7, G7, and C. D7, G7, and C. D7, G7, and C. One more time, D7, G7, and C. How'd that feel? Better, Judy? Good. Okay, now we're going to try to double speed. So it goes D7, G7, C. D7, C, G7, C, C. D7, G7, C. D7, G7, C. D7, G7, C. D7, G7, and C. D7, G7, and C. How'd that feel at double speed? Okay-ish, bad, somewhere in the middle. So if you're having trouble, here's what you should focus on. Make sure you're playing that D7 with your second and your third fingers, not your first and your second. And then what you'll note is when you go from D7 to G7, all you're doing is you're taking those two fingers, moving them down a string, and dropping in your index finger behind them. Right? Here's your D7. Here's your G7. D7, G7. D7, G7. So just focus on those fingers going up and down like that and adding in the index. And that should make it easier. And then the move to C from the G7 is really easy because you're just going to lift up your first and second and you're going to slide that ring over a fret and you're done. So it should really be D7, G7 to C. That's the fingering. D7, G7, C. D7, move down to G7, slide up to C. And that should be the fingering there. Okay, let's try that. 2, 3, 4, D7, G7, C. D7, G7, C. D7, G7, C. D7, G7, and C. So if that's not easy, great. You have something to work on. Okay, let's try it in the other key. We're going to start on that G just to get that G in our head. Otherwise, it's hard to switch. Okay, here we go. A7, A7, D7, and G. A7, G7, and G. A7, D7, and G. Last time. Here we go. A7, D7, and G. How'd that feel? Okay-ish? Okay, we'll take it. So let's go backwards. And work on David Melech. Our newest. Yeah.
Before we go further, can we do that modified D that you had noticed you noted under the D that you were at times you say no, but yeah.
Ray, you mean the one below the D7?
Correct.
Yeah, so absolutely. These are both totally acceptable variations on a D7, right? There's a D7 that's played like this with just those two fingers. There's also a D7 where you bar those three like you would with a D, and then you drop in down there the seventh. Or like that.
That's all.
And they really have different sounds to them, right? Here's this D7. This is the one in the middle. And here's the other D7. And so ideally what you would do is you would get used to both and you would use them at different times. So for instance, I like the top D7 for the one in C. So when we're doing that, right, I like... and it's entirely just personal preference in terms of the sound, but I like the top D7 to the G7 to the C. But on the bottom one, I like the other one. I like the A7 to the bigger D7 to the G. And that's entirely aesthetic. And it's just to your ear and what sounds good and what feels good to you. Okay, our new song, if I can find it, there we go, David Melech. Okay, let me just play this one more time for everyone quickly so everyone has it in their heads. I know not everyone knows the song already. And we'll obviously slow it down when we all play it together. It goes like this. David Melech, Melech Israel. David Melech, Melech Israel. David Melech, Melech Israel. Melech Israel. Chai v'kayam, oh siman, siman tov. Mazal, mazal, mazal tov. Okay, that's the whole song. It's all, I know we played it once last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. Really relatively simple in terms of chords that we already know, but hopefully in a slightly different order than some that we've played. So just to get us to stretch a little bit, which is always the goal, is we want to stretch a little bit and not too much. Okay, so let's try this. And I'm doing a down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And Linda and Ray and Mom, if you don't mind pointing your screens down so I can see your ukuleles. Not that you don't have wonderfully nice faces to look at too. But... Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4. David Melech, Melech Yisrael. Here comes C. David Melech, Melech Yisrael. Back to D minor. David Melech, Melech Yisrael. C. Melech Yisrael. Chai v'kayam. Let's try that. B flat, C, D minor again. B flat, C, D minor. B flat, C, D minor. B flat, C, D minor, B flat, C, D minor. Just a reminder, if you slide that same B flat chord up 2 frets, you get a C also. That's what I'm doing. So B flat, C, D minor, B flat, C, D minor. There's no need to do that if you don't want to. Just another option that's always there for you. B flat, C, D minor. Okay, let's take those top 2 lines together. 2, 3, 4. David Melech, Melech Israel. Here comes the C. David Melech, Melech Israel. David Melech, Melech Israel. C. Melech Israel. Here comes B flat, C, D minor. Do that again. B flat, C, D minor. One last time. Chai v'kayam. Okay, let's go on. Oh, Siman, C, Siman, B flat. Tov, Mazal, D minor, C, and B flat. Now F, La, C, Ule, B flat, Yisra, C, B flat to C, C to D minor. Let's do those 2 lines, last 2 lines. Here we go. Oh, D minor, C, and B flat. Oh, D minor, C, and B flat. Now F, C. Here we go. F and to C, and to B flat, and to C, B flat, C, D minor. Okay, from the top. Oh, unless we have questions. No questions? Okay, here we go. Oh, Linda, yeah.
Well, I just found that, and I don't know if this is okay, but boy, does it feel good when I rest my little elbow on my chair while I'm doing some of those fast chords.
Oh, yeah, that can help. That can help to stabilize yourself, absolutely.
It just feels like it stabilizes it, and it makes my hand less feel badly when I'm doing the B flat. So I just thought I'd share that.
So I know that this may be a little too advanced for most of us, many of us, but I just want to share this also because I think it provides some ukulele theory as well. Here's our B flat, right? And our B flat covers all 4 strings, which means you can move it anywhere you want, right? B flat, go up 1 fret, it's a B, go up 2 frets, it's a C. So this is the same chord shape. We may miss this, but this is the same chord shape, this B flat that we slide up, as the minor chord also. If you use your index finger to block all 3, and then just use that ring finger to do the one at the top, right? Here's our A7. Here's our B7. Right, we've done that B7 before. Or B7, B minor, excuse me, not B7. This is a B minor. C minor. But if you go up to the 5th fret so that your index finger is on the 5th fret, you should have a dot there. That's a D minor. So what that means is on those ones where we're going B flat to C to D minor, you can slide straight up the ukulele 2 frets at a time if you want to. B flat to C to D minor. And again, that's probably more complicated than the rest of us need, but it is there as an option too.
That assumes we like to torture ourselves with doing the B minor constantly, as opposed to just when we have to.
Well, yeah, right. The beauty of this is it trains you to do that exactly, and I mean, just listen to this for a second. I'm going to play the same riff in both phrasings, and you can hear how different it is, right? So here's the B flat C D minor, B flat C D minor. Now listen to it the other way. can actually hear my ukulele's out of tune when I start going up there, right? But it just gives a very different feel because it's going up, 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 right? So. Chai v'kayam, chai v'kayam, as opposed to chai v'kayam, or chai v'kayam.
Which do you
It's
tend
much
to?
it's much cleaner the way we do it than using the B flat and running up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different feel. It's a different structure. It adds a different emotion to it. Linda, my answer is I use it just like I use sustaining chords, which is to say that whenever you feel like it, you add it in. These should be colors in your palette or emotion. I always think of them as emotions more than colors in your palette to paint with. And I'm going to tune myself up again real quickly.
Danny, the C where you slide down and do the C, could you show it to us in a graphic? The way you show us the other chords. Could you show what it looks like?
Yep. Let me see if I can find one. I'm going to show it here one more time, and then I'll try to find it. Right? You play your B flat. It's your.
See, I play the B flat with my first that index finger. Yeah, like that.
So
You keep. I do the C.
You keep everything exactly the same, Grandma Judy, except you slide up 2 frets.
So that your index finger is on the 3rd fret.
Instead of the 1st fret. Exactly. So index finger on the 1st fret is your B flat. Index finger on the 3rd fret is your C. And then if you go up to the 5th fret and lift up your middle finger, you get the D minor.
Okay. Gotcha.
Again, just more emotional colors to paint with here. Okay, let's try playing that whole song one more time, shall we? Here we go. 2, 3, 4. D minor. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Here we go. David Melech, Melech Yisrael. C. David Melech, Melech Yisrael. D minor. David Melech, Melech Yisrael. C. Melech Yisrael. Here it comes. B flat, C, D minor. Do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And B flat, C, D minor. Okay, let's go on. Here we go. Oh, Siman, Siman Tov. We're on B flat now. Mazal, D minor, C, and B flat. Here comes F. F to C, and B flat to C. B flat, C, D minor. Okay, how'd that feel for everyone?
Good challenge, hard.
Good. Okay.
I think I would like to just say that for me, the strum is actually the hardest part, to get that strum so fast, and I wonder if other people think that's hard.
Yeah, I think there's universal agreement. So work on the strum then. If that's the tough part, then great. You know exactly where to focus on.
Could you do 30 seconds of that strum slowly so we could just see it one more time, and then that'll be on the video?
Yeah, sure.
Or 10, even 10 seconds.
So I'm just doing down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And if you're having trouble getting into it, remember it's always up and down. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Turns into down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Here we go. And down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. So you can even, when you're doing that strum, keep playing the downs and the ups and just play harder on those, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Turns it down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Oh, excuse me. So hopefully that helps, and that's how you want to practice. That's how you want to do all your practicing of your strumming. Remember, first find the down up speed, get your wrist moving at the right speed, and then focus on playing harder or softer on the ones you want to give attention to. Okay, let's keep going. Our other new song to get us to play around with our suspensions and to get us more comfortable in that D chord is the other goal here. Oop, that's not what I wanted to move, though. That's what I wanted to move. Okay. Really one of my very favorite songs of all time, All I Want Is You by U2. So very, very, very simple song. Just 3 chords in it, including that B minor. Everyone's favorite. We get our B minor here. So, just as a reminder, the whole song is just rotating between the D and the G. The D and the G. Except when the B minor replaces the D. Okay, our other reminder here is that weird set of zeros and twos and threes and things like that at the bottom. Just as a reminder, this is what we call tablature. The numbers refer to what fret on that string you are playing. So just looking at this, nope, that way. Right? So first on the far left, you see where it says A, E, C, G, right? Or from the bottom up, it's C, G, C, E, A. Those are your strings. G, C, E, A. The A is the string closest to your toes. The G is the string closest to your nose. So you'll notice that that first line, the first column there after the letters is starting from the bottom, starting from the G string going to the A string is 2-2-2-0. Everyone sees that, right? Sees what I'm talking about? That means starting on that G string, you put a finger on the second fret. And on the C string, you put a finger on the second fret. And on the E string, you put a finger on the second fret. And on the A string, there's nothing. It's open. That's what the 0 means. And that's the same as a D chord, right? When you look at it, that is a D chord. I don't know why the D chord here says 2-3-1. That is definitely not how you should finger that D chord, by the way. 1, 2, 3, up and down. Okay, so then you'll notice that we then, in the third column, you get 2 strums of the D chord. And then you'll notice that on the E string, it's an open then. So go ahead and lift up your ring finger to get that open. That's just a D sus2. If it's easier to look at the chord, that's a D sus2. And all we're doing is we're playing around with that sus there. And then we're doing the same with the G chord. And lifting up our middle finger now on the G chord. So lift up your middle finger, and that's a G sus. So you can read the tablature, but again, I would encourage you to listen to the song and just kind of get it in your head. It sounds like this. It's actually very easy once you sort of know what it should sound like, because all you're doing is on that D chord, you're lifting up your ring finger to play with that suspension, and on the G chord, you're lifting up your middle finger to play with that suspension. So you can either read it in the chords or you can read that tablature. And the tablature was, again, part of our goal with this song, is to start to introduce the concept of tablature and being able to use it. Okay, any questions before we play it? So it goes like this. I'll play through it once quickly. U, D, you want. Now we're on the G. Diamonds and a ring of G. Back to D, U, D, U, G. Your D to remain on G. And now comes the B minor. But all the B minors, we G. From the B minor to the G, with D, I, G is you. And then we get this riff. Kathleen, I like the gymnastics happening behind you on the couch. It's good. Okay. We ready to tackle this? Try playing it together?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Starting on that D. So get your wrist moving at that right speed. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Right, it's a pretty fast wrist speed, actually, even though we're not playing all of it. And just get that feel going, whatever feels right to you. Here we go, from the top. You say, you G. D, diamonds on a ring of G. U, D, U, G. Your D to remain on G. Here comes the B minor. But all the B minors, we G. From the B minor to the G, with D, I, G. Here comes the riff. D. Now G, 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 sus, sus, G. D, D, sus, D, sus, D, sus. G, G, sus, sus, G. Back to the top. D. Hang out on that D for a minute. Okay, now, when we're playing the song, when we're playing the verses, I encourage you to also play around with those suspensions, not just during the riff. Okay, let's do this together. Here we go. I'm going to sing the words this time. Hopefully we can follow along. You say you want diamonds on a ring of gold. You say you want your story to remain untold. Here comes the third line with the B minor. All the promises we make, from the cradle to the grave, when all I want is that riff again. D, D, sus, D, sus, D, sus, G, 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 sus, sus, G, sus, D, D, sus, D, sus, D, sus, G, G, sus, G, J. Okay, how did that feel?
Pretty good.
Thumb down, thumb middle, somewhere. Practice it. And the beauty of practicing this one is you can really practice it at whatever level you're on. If you're having trouble with the D chord, practice moving from the D to the G to the B minor. If you're having trouble with strumming, focus on the strumming. And if those get easy, that's when you move over and really start integrating those suspensions, which is the real goal here, is to work in the suspension, to work in that riff, to get used to those things. Any thoughts or questions before we go on?
I don't understand what you mean by going into the suspension.
So
Is sus too? Is that what you mean?
sus means suspension.
Okay, so you do. Do you do the D sus the whole time? Or,
No.
I don't.
What you want?
The riff.
So what you want to do is you want to play around with it. So the riff is just this. So this is a D, right? Looking at my hand, and this is a D sus, right? That's a D.
Yeah.
That's a D sus. So the riff is just. And then I go to the G, and I'm right. This is a G. This is a G sus.
Correct.
So the riff is entirely made up of that playing around with the suspensions of both chords. And what I'd love for folks to do when you're practicing is play around with the suspensions in places where you're not doing the riff, right? U, D, sus, U, G, sus, a D, sus on a ring of G, sus, right? Where you can just add those in as you're going to provide a little texture, etc. Okay, I'm noticing we only have 5 minutes left. So any questions, any comments, anything from today?
From the D to the G, very pleasant.
Say that again, Ray, sorry.
The change from the D to the G is very pleasant. It's just a nice transition.
Good.
I like it.
Good. Yeah, that's something to play with. They're actually, again, to go back to a little bit of music theory here, they're the same chord shape, but they're compensated for the tuning. So this string right here, our E string, is tuned a little bit differently than the rest of the strings on the ukulele. The distance between your G string and your C string is a fourth, meaning your finger's on the 5th fret, and it gives you the note for the next string. And the distance between the E string and the A string is also a fourth, meaning on the 5th fret. But the distance from the C string to the E string is just 1 fret down. It's not on that 5th fret, it's on the 4th fret instead. So here, that shape, 3 across, once you compensate for the change in tuning, becomes that shape when you move down a string.
Rabbi Daniel, I have a question.
Yeah.
Somehow, okay, I'm on the 5th fret, okay, like my guitar, but when I take the top note, do you hear that?
Because
Second string?
it's an octave off from each other, Linda. On your ukulele, your G string is tuned an octave up.
Is that bad?
No. There's 2 different styles. You can get a G string that's a low G, like mine, or a high G, like yours. It makes no difference.
Okay, thank you.
It makes no difference. You'll find that the 2nd fret on yours, on that G string, should be the same note as your E down here. Or your A down here, excuse me.
Yes, it is.
Right, and that's because this is a G. You put your finger on the 1st fret, it's a G sharp. Put it on the 2nd fret, it's an A. So that turns your G string into an A, and this is tuned to an A down here also.
Rabbi Daniel, I had one idea I wanted to just float before you said goodbye, but I don't want to, if somebody else has a question, I want to make sure they ask their questions. Should I just shoot my idea?
Go for it.
So, was wondering about other ways that we could use our music, and I just wondered if we could have like a little musical mitzvah core. And maybe, we could do it online if the family felt like they wanted some music, or we could do it in person. I just wanted to float that idea as another way that we could use our music.
I love that. Linda. I'll connect with Mitzvah Core and see what they say, if we can integrate that, or if we need.
Or we could be our own little music.
We can be our own, exactly.
We could be our own little group, but I don't know how other people feel, but I would love to take this music and make more out of it.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, before we end, I'm going to show you the exercise I've been working on in case anyone wants to join me in this exercise. It's a little more complicated, but it shouldn't be too complicated for any of us to play. I have been working on all of my bottom three strings, not ignoring our G string, are 3-string chords. And there are 3 major chords. There's this chord, there's this chord, and then there's the G shape. You'll notice that's actually the B flat shape without that finger up there, right? And then there's this shape, which is the same as that D shape. And so I've been working on playing the same things in different spots on the fretboard. So for instance, here's Hashki Venu right here. Right, so that's Hashki Venu. But what I can do is I can move from this shape to this shape, and it's the same chord. And so I can now play Hashki Venu up here. Nope, what is it? So anyways, I've been practicing moving it up and down between those, working on those 3-finger shapes. If anyone is interested in the chords for that, let me know. I'll send them to you so you can work on them as well.
Can you post those so people could look at like the fingering? We could the fingering of that.
Yep, for sure. Where did everyone go? I hope I didn't close that. Nope, I just minimized it. Yeah, I will find that for you, Linda. Absolutely, for sure. Okay, good to be with you. See everyone next week. Just as a heads up, we're going to have to end just a little early next week. I've got a press conference about the Afghan immigrant project here in St. Louis that's happening at 1:30. So I'll have to leave a little early and get down there. Good to see everyone.
Lynn, are you